Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative Podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, social media, sports, everything really depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. You'll recognize my guest from a show that recently dropped on Netflix called Young Wallander. We are with Alan Emrys. Alan, welcome to Popternative, man.
That's insane how quickly you did that. That was brilliant.
Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, man. Thank you. How is life?
Life is good. But you know, when you do a lot of interviews, you know what I mean? It's kind of like in your brain, right? You just kind of know what you're going to say.
I was just fascinated by how quickly you said it. It was insane.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of practice.
Eminem's got to run for his money with you, man.
Congrats so far with the success of Young Wallander. I mean, it must be an exciting time for you. I mean, a Netflix show.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I'm on Netflix.
You're on Netflix.
That's it. Like I'm on Netflix, and I've had some hilarious fan mail, but I made a point, because I'm still tech. I'm nobody who's kind of got a little bit of somebody status now, and I had this whole thing that like if I was to message, I don't know, if I watched Venom and then messaged Tom Hardy and went, oh my god, I love that, and then he messaged me back and just went, thanks. It would make my day. So I've been making a point of replying to fan mail when I get it. And I had this one great one who just sent me a message saying, you being a metalhead was such a shock. And I just sent back the gift of Patrick Stewart going, acting.
So that's, I mean, before kind of Young Wallander, I mean, before we get into it, I want to just know about you specifically, man, as like a storyteller and an actor. Like, when did that kind of start out for you?
When I watched Labyrinth with David Bowie when I was a little kid, like
it's a very specific answer. Usually people are like, well, you know, I've always wanted to do it all your life. You're just like, when I watched Labyrinth, and that's like a specific movie too. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was like from when I was like, you know when you like, some of your audience might not understand this, but you know when you had a VHS tape that you watched so many times that your parents had to buy you like 4 copies because you kept breaking it.
The Lion King for me, yeah.
Brilliant film. For me, it was David Bowie, and just me being fascinated, like in awe of this like presence, being like, wow.
You remember?
And then,
you remember Mr. Deeds of Adam Sandler? You watched that?
Yeah, yeah.
Remember the scene where they're singing Ground Control?
Yes.
It's so good. It's always like, this... yeah. David Bowie's music is amazing.
Just David Bowie as a human being was amazing. He just had these great, like, there's a great interview with him talking about that I watched when I was a bit older, which really resonated with me because it was at a certain point. I feel like he's been a huge influence on me as a storyteller and actor, because it was when I was in drama school, and it was in first year of drama school. And at first year of drama school, you're constantly trying to just make the teachers happy because you still feel a little bit like, they made a mistake in letting me in. Because there's like 3,000 plus people who have auditioned, and you're one of 16 because I went to the drama center. And I was just, but anyway, there was this interview with him, and he says that never play to the gallery. And I was like, what does that mean? He said, well, just you should never try, and an artist's work should never be in order to appease other people, because you generally produce your worst work because it's not coming from you anymore. And he says, like, to go out into the water to the point where your feet are just not touching the floor. So there's that little bit of danger, which is like, oh, now it's exciting. Now I don't know what could happen, but I'm still a little bit in control. I guess it's kind of like cooking on a barbecue. The flame is, you haven't got complete control over everything, which is, I don't know, there's just something exciting about it, because even the audience doesn't know what's going to come next, but neither does the actor in a little bit of the way.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, like acting school and like theater, I mean, that's kind of like where you learn your craft. Like most people kind of before they go, obviously, in TV and film, it's like the stepping stone, like in the theater, right?
Yeah. I got taught, so I had a great teacher called Annie Tyson, who also taught like Tom Hardy and all the veterans who came out of Drama Center. And she said, no one can teach you how to act. We can only teach you how to work, which was a really cool thing. She's like, you got into the school, you can act. Great. Yeah. Now we're going to teach you how best to manage your time and how best to prepare and how best to make sure that your instrument, if you want to get a bit toffee about it, is in the best working order it can be. Because it doesn't matter how amazing of an actor you are, if no one can understand a word you're saying or what you're trying to translate, then all the talent in the world goes out the window.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand what you said. And also that we don't care how pretty. It wasn't about sounding pretty. It was about you have to train your voice to make sure that people can understand you. But at the same time, all of that is useless if you're not trying to actually do something. Mm-hmm. If you don't have an action or yeah.
No, absolutely. So, Young Wallander, which is now on Netflix. It's kind of like I'm kind of throwing three questions in one right now with you. I mean, what can people expect from Young Wallander? Talk a little about your character Gustav, and what has the reception been like so far?
It depends. I mean, if you've seen Wallander before, I mean, if you've seen the Kenneth Branagh incarnations and the previous Swedish incarnations as well, then you can still expect the same sort of stoic, broody crime drama, but it's got a much younger energy now. It's a bit more action packed, if you could say. It's very much. Think of sort of James Bond without all the theatrics.
For my viewers too, I just want to know, because you said there was like previous adaptations and everything. Could people just go into Young Wallander fresh without knowing anything?
I mean, it's like saying, can you watch Star Wars Episode 1, 2, and 3 without having seen 4, 5, and 6? Sorry, vice versa.
Yeah.
Like they kind of have standalone stories as they are. Mm-hmm. And this is also the first time that Adam has taken up the mantle of playing Wallander. Mm-hmm. Gustav is very different. It very much the same as me, but as if in a very different world. He's quite sensitive, but in a very in a world that doesn't allow sensitivity. It's not really an accepted thing. So it becomes a bit more shut off. Very matter of fact, trying to get things done. He's a visionary of the world. He wants to change things for the what he perceives to be the better. He wants to make a difference in the world. But he's also a billionaire, and I come from an incredibly working class background. So I have my own opinions on the billionaire class.
Was that kind of a challenge acting wise though? To play no,
I can't. The way I thought about it, the beginning it was because I was thinking like, oh, how would a billionaire this, billionaire that, billionaire, and then I just went, well, ultimately he's just another human being. Yeah. So I'm just gonna play that and ignore the money. The only funny part about it was mostly that I'm playing this billionaire, and in the first week I was trying to buy a coffee and my card was declined because I had no money in the bank.
That's just kind of. It makes me sad to hear that.
Oh no! It was like, I need to go and move some money around because I've run out and I can't get the coffee. But I find it hilarious. I'm staying in a 5-star hotel. I'm getting driven around everywhere. Can I buy a coffee? Nope.
What has the reception been so far? It hasn't been that long that it's been dropped, but it's already in like the top 10s of Netflix's all around the world. It's amazing to see, man.
It's brilliant. I think there's Leanne Best had a really cool thing about it. She said we've made a low-key banger because Leanne is wonderful, and she's put it in that context, which I think is great. I think it's really it speaks for itself, and with not it's say like if you were to think, I don't know, like The Boys or something like that on Amazon, that has got a lot of promo behind it, which not to say that it's not a good show, it's a brilliant show, but it has a lot of promo which helps get that reception. Whereas Wallander didn't really, and it's sort of slow burning its way. But
I feel like, Alan, I feel like that's like that's a Netflix thing, and I bring it up because I've interviewed people from some other Netflix shows. Like I've interviewed people from Outer Banks, Orange is the New Black, like Stranger Things, and it's the same thing. Like when these shows kind of come out, I mean, some people that are really active on social media will kind of maybe see like a trailer around Tomatoes or anything, but they'll kind of like Netflix has created like the platform. Like you go on Netflix and like the trailers are there in your kind of home, like your home kind of page on Netflix, and you could see later this week, like they really curate it that you see it right away type thing, and there doesn't seem to be like that much kind of promotion. And then you hear, like I knew about Young Wallander, right?
Okay.
I did 100% because it kind of came up in what you might like dropping soon on Netflix.
It may just be that I'm terrible at seeing social media stuff.
Yeah, you look kind of confused when I was talking about that. You were like, "What is this guy talking about?" Like,
yeah, I was like, they do.
But then another thing too is kind of shifting away a little bit because I do want to talk about another film called Host that you have a little part of in there. And well, first of all, straight up, I mean, this is a film. Radina Jandova, your girlfriend, and her friends are in this film. Rob Savage directed this fantastic film, basically taking place on Zoom, and then basically just things get real after a seance over Zoom during quarantine, and then
that's a mild way of putting it. Yeah,
exactly.
Things
and you were in this movie by accident.
Yeah, because I was home. So, like, I get I get like loads of people. I get more people messaging me about Host than I do about Young Wallander, and it's always about my legs, which leads me on to maybe wanting to create an OnlyFans or something to make some money out of it. But yeah, it's insane. It's insane, and I feel a bit like an imposter when I get all these compliments about it. Like, oh, it's amazing, we loved you, and so one guy said I was his favorite character, and I was like, how? My legs are in the background, but thank you very much. But yeah, I feel like the other guys have done all this amazing work. So every time I get a compliment on it, I'm like, no. Go talk to Rob and Jed and Medina and Haley. Look at all their amazing work. I simply was just home. I can't take any credit.
When I interviewed them, I did a roundtable with the cast. I mean, they're very mum about it, and I feel like they're not kind of giving up like the secrets. I still don't know how the hell some of those shots were done. Like, I don't get it, man. No, like you're laughing.
You
but
can't say that to me because I want to tell you now.
Well, no, some of those shots though, like some of the effects they've done, like on their cameras and stuff, is just wild. I feel like that's one of the main things about it. It's not only this film kind of taking place on Zoom, it was made on Zoom because you guys were in lockdown basically making this film.
Yeah. So you know the oven on thing? That was me.
Really?
Yeah. I was hiding in the kitchen and I did some stuff. I won't tell you how we did it. But I did some stuff.
And apparently, when in your house where you and Radina, when like you see kind of that weird light on top in the background, I think that was in Radina's scene or someone's scene. There was like a weird light in the beginning of there's a scene where they're talking about stuff, and they're like, "Do you see that?" There's this kind of weird light in the background. Apparently, that actually really happened.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was, but I know this was a real thing.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Kind of.
Yes, I can't remember because I've seen it a few times now, but how are you? It's been a while.
It's scary. It's very terrifying.
It is. But the real scary thing is me and Radina nearly got arrested making this film.
Okay, are you gonna elaborate?
I'll tell you how. Yeah.
Okay.
So you know the oven thing?
Yes.
So I don't want to give the oven thing away for people who haven't seen it, but there was a thing that we had to put in the oven for the stuff to
Yeah.
So we had to test one of those things to see how bad that thing, this is hilarious, how bad that thing would be in the park across the road from our house. We live directly next door to the police station. So that could have gone very, very south, but it just, because it just goes. It makes a lot of, Yeah.
But
we had to close the oven to stop it.
So what if the cops came and then you were like, "Hey, do you want to be in our movie?"
Yeah, but we were like, what is going on? Nothing. We're not doing anything.
Can you imagine, like, oh, you're making a movie? Like, sure, I'll be in it. Like, imagine like, you have a cop who's like, I always want to be an actor.
Yeah, well, it was more the fact that we had to be careful because we had we weren't breaking the law or anything, but we had obviously we had the stunt team in because this is the thing. I get a lot of compliments on how important my role was within the whole. But that wasn't me. It was a man dressed up like me, and I've forgotten his name now, and I feel awful.
You
'cause I
yell at
screwed-
Radina in the movie, and you make her upset, and then she talks to spirits, and then that happens to you. So,
Yeah.
no, not much sympathy for your character in the film.
No, the character in the film is a bit of a knob. Let's be honest.
Teddy drove me nuts. Teddy and his girlfriend, the whole I think that was the point. Like when I was talking to them, they said, yeah, like that was his point, to be kind of this like goofball, not taking it seriously. But he drove me bananas in that movie.
The thing is, okay, so I don't know how this will be taken.
We'll get back to Young Wallander, I promise.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't
I
want this to be hijacked by hosts, because
No,
I
not
love
at all.
hosts, but we'll also talk about Young Wallander. But
yeah, I was raised. It's okay. My mum is a white witch. My mum is pagan. I was raised pagan. So I think as soon as I hear like, oh, we're going to do a seance in the house, I was like, is there a Ouija board? Because if there is, we're not. No, it's not happening. I will not allow that in the house. Because I'm like, it's true. Like with these things, like you have to. You're opening if you believe in it all, it opens up this other world, and if you don't take it seriously. And if you have something, you don't get it's like opening the door and leaving it open. You don't really get a choice. So I'm very much like, okay, I was very sort of wanting to know exactly what was happening, because I don't know how everyone else feels, but I'm quite a spiritual.
did they ask you then about things then? Like did Radina like ask you about certain things in the film, like about the film, because like you like did they give you like ask for you advice and stuff?
Not advice as such, no. It was just more like she would say, oh, this is happening. Are you okay with it? And I'd be like, well, yeah, that's fine. It's just things like, I didn't like the idea of bringing energies into the house that I didn't want in the house.
No, for sure.
Because it's not like I believe in demons and all that stuff.
Have you seen the video where like it's the video of this guy and he goes to like the panel of the lights and he turns the lights off, and the caption is like my sister and her friends are doing a seance. And he's like,
he just turned them off and on again, and it's like, it's so funny. I love it.
We'll get back to Young Wallander very quickly, though. I mean, we have to mention it because these are like friends of yours and Radina's, and you worked on the film. I mean, it's fantastic to hear that Rob Savage signed a 3-year Blumhouse deal. We don't know much more than that. Then he's
three picture.
Yeah.
That could take 12 years. We never know. There might be a
it's true. That could be a long one.
Thing. We never know.
3 pictures. And you know what? Like, it would be cool to kind of see some faces from Host in his films. You never know. Like, it could happen. You know what I'm saying?
It very well could. I think the again, I just kind of stumbled into it, but they have worked with Radina and Haley and Gemma and
they're all so talented, man. They're so cool and so talented.
They are, and they've worked together before. They did. If anyone is interested, there's a great film that Dawn of the Death, which I thought was a brilliant concept when I watched it. They're geniuses. They really are.
Is it freaking you out how big horror has become, though? Like, it's massive. Like, it's one of the biggest genres on the planet right now.
Yeah, no, it doesn't freak me out. So I think it's brilliant. I think horror fans are.
I meant more like does it surprise you? Not like freak you out. Like, does it surprise you?
No, because everyone's super interested in this like adrenaline stuff in any way, shape, or form. You get people who want to jump out of airplanes. You get people who want to pickpocket a piece of sugar from Starbucks because that gives them a thrill. People love getting away with stuff, and that can be getting away with fear. Like I got past it, and now I don't know. I survived. I lived. I conquered. I did this thing, whatever it may be. And horror gives you that perfect sort of way of doing it safely. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it is. But yeah, no. It would be wonderful to work with them again. Absolutely, would love to. But we will see. I'm sure Haley and Gemma and Radina and all of them will be working with them again.
Was it kind of like the calm before the storm, kind of before Young Wallander kind of dropped on Netflix, where you were kind of like sitting there, maybe with Radina, and be like, man, like what's gonna happen right now? Like this is crazy. Like I'm gonna be at Netflix in 2-3 days. You know what I mean? And like what was that kind of like before it dropped?
Well, this is my first sort of intro to the world, really.
Grateful role. They're called.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, I had to go to the bar near our house and have quite a few whiskeys before watching it, because I was like, oh God, what if, because all the cast, like you have Richard Delane, you have Leanne Best, Adam Halson, like that, phenomenal. It's so intimidating working with them, being like the new kid on the block. They were absolutely incredible. So I was like, what if I'm the bad one? What if I'm the guy who snuck in and they made a bit of a mistake? And yeah, so I had to have a few drinks and be like, oh God, I was terrified. I was so nervous. I was really happy with it in the end. And I thought, like, it's the first time I've watched myself on camera and gone, not thought to myself, wow, you're so good, but going, there are things I would like to change, but I'm happy with what I have. And I felt like I'd worked and I'd done the work, and I was.
So
I
you
was
watched
happy.
all of it. You watched Young Wallander. So
Yeah.
I do find out though that there's not that many situations, but I always ask before like I dive into a show with someone, because there's the odd case where people like don't watch it or haven't seen it, or they're waiting. Like that does happen. Does that happen
It
often?
does.
Do you think? Do you know a lot of people? Do you know anyone like that? Like that won't
Well,
watch
the
your
famous
stuff?
one of Johnny Depp has apparently never seen any of his own films.
And he's done so many of them. I feel like that's
Yeah.
kind of impossible though, because they got to be kind of around all the time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it comes from, like, actors are naturally quite self-critical of our work. So I guess a lot of it comes from an insecurity, or you could maybe say that it's not even an insecurity. Maybe they don't want to they don't want to indulge on their own ego.
no, absolutely.
But there's a famous one with my favorite with all this sort of stuff. Like I do a lot. This is my third interview of my life, which thank you for bringing me on. But there's a great thing from Christoph Waltz where he says that he never talks about. So it's not that he doesn't watch his characters, but he never talks about his characters in interviews.
Yeah.
Because he thinks that, like, look, if I've done this thing and I want to portray this, but then you've seen it in a different way, and I, as the guy who supposedly owns the character because me in a way, say, well, this is what I intended, and then you'll be sat there thinking, oh, I was wrong, which I think is a really beautiful thing to do. I really like that, and maybe I've talked a bit too much about Gustav in a way, but I really like that analogy of just allowing the people, the audience, to own it.
Well, you mentioned interviews. It's your third interview. I'm really happy to have you on to talk about everything. But I find it interesting because there are like actors out there that they don't like doing press, and they're very shy, and they're not like what you see on camera. Like there's a show called Letterkenny, which is on Hulu, and it's a Canadian show. I'm from Canada, and there's
I've been to Nova Scotia.
Pardon me?
I've been to Nova Scotia in Canada. It's the only place I've been.
It's nice. It's nice there, right?
Sorry, I interrupted you.
It's nice, right?
It is beautiful. I was there from like November, December, filming a thing that was set in Scotland in 1314. It was beautiful country. Absolutely beautiful.
That's awesome. But yeah, what I was saying is there are people that don't like doing interviews, and like their persona on, like they're on like, and they're in a movie and they're playing like this over the top talkative person, right? And people are like, oh, like I'd love to interview him. He'll be like that, and then like it's acting. You know what I mean? Like then they're just like, hey, how's it going? You know what I mean? Like it's so like it's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the same as what I was saying to you earlier about the whole girl saying to me in the fan mail,
yeah,
oh, I was so surprised that you're a metalhead, and then me being, oh, hello, acting.
So you are a metalhead, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I am a metalhead as well. So can we talk some
amazing.
metal? So here's the
band?
thing. Here is the thing, sir. My name is Petey Beats, and that was a name because that was a stage name because I used to play in bands.
Oh, amazing! I used to sing.
My band. You're in the UK right now, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so my band. Shout out to Stolen Empire. We were just a local band. We didn't do anything. We just played shows. We opened up for Askin Alexandria, dude.
What?
Yes, when they were first starting, like the first record came out. Yeah, we opened up for them in front of 3,000 people. It was crazy.
That's amazing, man.
We sucked. Like we were not good, but
Well, everyone thinks they sucked. You
we were
probably
like the
didn't. You're
local
probably
band.
fantastic.
We were like the local band. But yeah, I opened up for Asking Alexandria. That's a cool thing.
That's so cool.
So
I
like
know,
yeah, like
I know a Canadian rock band.
what band?
Well, they used to be called Colfax. Now they're called Double Experience.
I'm literally I know them. We're both from Ottawa, dude.
I know them. I used to, me and a friend, when I was in Anglesey in North Wales, where I'm from, we used to book their gigs when they come over to the UK.
Dude, their Double Experience is wicked. They're awesome.
They're so cool.
I used to also be a concert promoter too.
Really?
Yes.
So I ran, my company was called NA Events, and it was so braggy because
Isn't it kind of a pain
Nathan's
in the
and Alan
butt?
events.
Isn't concert promoting like a pain in the butt? Could we just talk about that for a second?
Oh yeah.
It's like the worst sometimes. I look back
okay.
at it now and I look at how people are doing it and I'm out of it, right? It was pretty cool because I interviewed my friend's band, Stuck on Planet Earth. Shout out to them. Their new record just came out on Anthem Records. And like, you know, we were doing small little shows here and there, and they're like actually like quote unquote, like making it, you know what I mean? Like they're doing very well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's cool to see, like, it takes a lot of time to like get going in the music industry. Like I don't think people realize that.
It does, and then but it's one of those things. It's sort of like there's a famous saying, it takes 10 years to make an overnight success, because everyone just sees that, oh, you blew up overnight. No, you've been working hard for 10 years or something funny.
How heavy do you go? Like how heavy do you go, man?
Okay, so I have quite an eclectic music taste.
Me
so
too.
I
listen to everything. Me and you are going to become really good friends because trust me, like we got this. Like August Burns Red, do you like them?
Yeah, I love their cover of Britney Spears.
Yes, I interviewed Matt Griner, their drummer, on my show. Shane Told from Silverstein. Were you ever in the Silverstein?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've interviewed him on my show.
Dude, this is sick.
Do you remember Protest the Hero?
No.
You'd like them. They're really good. You should check them out.
I go to a great music festival in the UK, which terrifies people when I tell them the name
Which
of it.
one?
Bloodstock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go. So I kind of stumbled in. Okay, this is a lot of my life. A lot of the great things that have happened to me.
Name some bands you like. Go. Drop them.
Gojira, Rob Zombie, A Day to Remember. Guns N' Roses is another one of my heroes.
In Flames. Do you like In Flames?
I've not really listened to them that much.
Oh, so good, man.
But I've got into this weird thing recently, which is embarrassing to admit. Because, okay, so you know how I said I have an eclectic music taste?
Yes.
I'm literally in the gym at the moment. Not right now, obviously. But, like, when I go to the gym, I'm kind of listening to heavy metal covers of Disney songs.
So I listen to pop punk covers of songs all the time. And there's a band from Australia that had a cover of 5 Seconds of Summer's Young Blood. And it's like so good, and I've listened to that all the time. And
that's the only reason I know a lot of pop songs. Do you know
I'm a big fan. I think Bullet for My Valentine is like one of the best.
They're a
bands.
Welsh band as well.
Yeah, dude. Like Bullet for My Valentine. I actually was like talking to like the the original drummer of Bullet for My Valentine. He's in like a new band, and I might like talk to him about that. I remember seeing Bullet for My Valentine and Bring Me the Horizon together, and that was the best show.
Oh, that must have been so fun.
But dude, could you like tell my viewers too, right? Like if people don't know, like Asking Alexandria is like pretty big right now.
I seen them at Download Festival.
Yes, and
they were on the main stage.
That was like when the first record, but it was when they were more like metalcore and like breakdown, right? They're different.
For your audience to realize how big Asking Alexandria are, like this is main stage down. So you guys. Hello, guys. Welcome to the talk show with Alan and Pete. So, you know the music video for Paradise City from Guns N' Roses, if you listen to that music video, is Donington Music Festival. Donington Music Festival turned into Download Music Festival. Asking Alexandria played the main stage at Download Music Festival.
Now
he supported them.
The show was this was the lineup. It was the Welcome to the Circus tour. It was a local band, then us, then a band called so it's one of those things. It was a stacked bill. You're gonna know like you're going to know, like, you might not know the first bands, but then you might go up. So this was the order. It was, I remember this. It was Colossus of Rhodes. They were a local Montreal band. Then it was us, Stolen Empire.
Were they
were
they also like a little bit of a cover band of Guns N' Roses?
No, they were. It was just all like metalcore and breakdowns and get in the pit. Let's go. Let's separate.
Okay.
Like, that was the big thing back in then. You know what I mean? So
It's still a big thing now. That's what I love. I would love to go. Me and Leanne are going to a rock gig when gigs are up and running again. So Frida is also loves metal music.
Does Radina like metal music?
She likes rock.
Anyway, it was a Bullet for Pretty Boy. Then it was Our Last Night. And then it was We Came as Romans from First to Last and Asking Alexandria. That was one bill, dude. That was one bill. We Came as
Romans are so... Like, I genuinely, it still is. My absolute favorite song of theirs is Hit Me Baby One More Time, cover of Britney Spears. Mm-hmm. I think it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm. No, it's crazy. But I feel like we could be talking about this stuff for hours. This is crazy. Yeah. I feel like this is a Step Brothers moment where we literally have become best friends.
Let us gingerly touch tips.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. This was awesome.
No, thank you so much for bringing me on. I would love to come back anytime, just for a chat, man.
No, for sure. Where can people follow you on social media? Like Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram is my main one. I barely use Twitter, so it's just Alan_Emrys.
And they can catch you as Gustav in Young Wallander now on Netflix.
Which is now on Netflix, yes. And it's amazing.
Isn't that cool? Like, we're talking about rock bands. You're like, oh, by the way, I'm in a Netflix show.
Yeah, I'm literally that. So because I still have a day job, because I've got to pay the rent somehow.
Yeah.
And I'm literally like, people come up, oh, so what do you do? I'm an actor. Oh, so have you been in anything?
Well, my new show's on Netflix.
Just Netflix.
Yeah. Have you been recognized yet? Well, have you been recognized yet?
Once. And it was hilarious because I recently had a haircut and I was with my barber. My barber is Frank Glorified on Instagram. He's like a famous barber. And we just became friends. I stumbled into it. He's now my barber. He's an amazing barber. And we went for a drink afterwards to celebrate Wallander. And I was in this bar with him and his mate. And we were drinking, and his mate's this Italian guy. He's really friendly, making us cocktails and really like. And then he starts talking about Wallander and how he's watching this new show on Netflix. And then I was just sitting there going, it's amazing, man. I'm Gustav. And he was like, what? I'm Gustav. I play Gustav in Young Wallander. And he's like, I thought I recognized you. I thought I'd just seen you in the pub before. And he's like going mad. And it was this amazing little fanboy moment. And we took photos with him. And I was just like, this is weird, but so fun.
That's amazing. Well, seriously, congratulations so far on the success of Young Wallander, man. It's awesome to see.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. You can catch Alan Emrys in Young Wallander, now streaming on Netflix. And until next time, this is Alan Emrys and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.